Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon, and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be going over, or starting at least, Soul Survivors, a postmodern TTRPG. Now what is this game in all actuality? This is the Yick game. Last Monday we went over some of the basic ideas of what we want to handle, and I did a little bit more looking into it. Well, if I go, if I select the wrong thing and don't open the right document because I am a silly boy and never open the right thing what I need to open. Is this the correct one? There we go. There we go. As you can see up here, our basic ideas we needed to do was we needed to maintain a classic SNES early PS1 era RPGness. We need to understand that this is 1999. It is soul space, postmodernism, as well as investigative elements. However, everything must lead to the dungeon crawl. Now, I decided to go with a mix game. Yes, a mix. With the idea being that you have two forms of game, pretty much. You have this non-combat D20, and you also have the combat dice pool. However, this is where things get a little bit odd. One of the ideas that I ended up kind of hammering out how I want to handle the attributes, that being your egos, those being physical, gutsy, flowy, cerebral, and enigmatic. As you notice, they're all actually adjectives, which translate roughly to strength, charisma, dexterity, mind, and what? However, these also kind of contribute to what dice you're going to be rolling for combat, which hopefully the idea being the core idea being that the weapon, kind of your weapon slash stats slash attack, kind of your weapon slash your attack stats determine the number of dice being rolled, while your attribute, or while your ego, I should say, ego determines the type of die. So for example, you may equip a weapon that has like 4 attack, for example. So you get to roll 4 whatever your type of die is. However, you might not be able to do much with it. It might not hit for a lot of damage, or it's kind of like, do you want to hit more often, or do you want to be able to just do more damage? Usually I'm hoping that's kind of the way I hope to do it. One thing I'm not like super in yet is this idea. The combat system's still a little bit wonky. I'm going to need to actually make it a pretty extensive set of like custom abilities, I think, to make this game work. Because, fun fact, Persona works very well because there's 1,000 fucking abilities to work with. It doesn't work very well in Yick at all. Yick is bad. Yick is not a fun game to play. Yick kind of sucks. And I also broke down traits into 5 different categories. So you can have you're going to have 5 traits based off in these 5 categories, being mind, energy, nature, tactics, and identity. These being more of like, how do you process information? How do you kind of get up and go? What's your nature? How do you actually just handle people in general? How do you approach situations, and how do you self-identify? Not necessarily in that way, but more along the idea of being like, do you view yourself as a good person? Do you view yourself as a hipster? Do you think that you are this way? How do you see yourself? Well, all the other things are kind of building together, which you're going to have one of these to begin with. Let's say, for example, you might start off with mind, or you might start off with, tactics or something. You're going to start off with one of these, as well as your basic attributes. And that's pretty much going to be it. You're not really going to have like super high attributes or anything like that. I don't want it to be that way. Which also means technically defense is going to be a little bit wonky, because these have to be about a D4 minimum. But I have an idea for that. So, yeah. I have the basics set up here. And as we go to Soul Survivors, I only really have the preface set up. In which I say this game is shit. And for those who's interested, we're using EXO for our header, as well as Newsreader for our body text. I couldn't find like a good body text. Also, here's FemAlex, because this is a thing that exists and someone made. And I'm like, yep, this will go right. This will go here perfectly. Open up immediately by FemAlex. But if we go here, Yeah, I think a lot of this can maintain a lot of the basic ideas. Gonna open you up. So, basic idea, what we need to handle right now is... Year's 1999. How to play, how to play, and how to play. Actually, what we could do is tutorial level how to play. There we are. So one of the big ideas where I'm going to do for like lore wise, because I'm going to put in like a lore section. Like the lore section is going to be like, here's like the basic idea of Yik like lore. This is like the basic concepts of it. I'm going to put in like some things because like I have the idea of like, hey, because in Yik there are the soul survivors, and soul survivors, what we learned last time, are pretty much people who form their own individual identities, who've, you know, ascended effectively. They have broken free from their bodies, and they have, gone beyond to kind of see what the world is for what it is. However, the problem is, as a soul survivor, your universe has been destroyed, and they have fled their universe seeking a new body. Seeking a new place to inhabit. You know, we learned that Rory almost did that, but we also met Rory's soul survivor, or a version of Rory, and that's kind of the idea. However, my idea, what I'm going to be going with is like, there's going to be like 3 main entities in the upper sphere, then the lower sphere. In the upper sphere, the basic entities are souls, which are, and in turn, soul survivors. Then we have watchers, who are pretty much people who are watching events unfold in other realities, i.e. you, the player, and the GM are technically watchers. And then we have the universal will, which is literally the fact that the game is being played. That is how I'm going to be justifying it. Remember, you are your Alex. You're the protagonist of your own life. Ah, that feels good. It is both hot and cold in my. It is both hot and just sticky outside, so I have the air on. But I know it's gonna get cold in here. It's gonna be great. The tutorial level, how to play. Okay, soul survivor, a postmodern TTRPG. In case you're wondering, yes, I am going to put Soul Survivor, a postmodern TTRPG, every time it is mentioned. Is played with a full set of dice, 3 to 5 watchers. Actually, we'll say 2 to 5. We'll say 2 to 5 watchers. 2 to 5 watchers. I've been debating on what to call the GM, because part of me wanted to call it the Guardian of Material. Like, part of me wanted to call it like the Guardian Materials, or just call it something just incredibly pretentious. 5 watchers. Let's see. Postmodern RPG is played with a full set of dice. Actually, we'll do D4 to D4, D20. 2 to 5 watchers. How do I want to word this? The Guardian. Well, let's see. The Guardian of. Guardian Metaphysics. There you go. The Guardian of Metaphysics, who will govern, who will arbitrate, who will run the game, who will run the game, and. 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 Who will run And finally, you, the player. The hero of... There we go. Soul Survivor, postmodern TTRPG is played with a full set of dice, D4 to D20, 2 to 5 watchers, the guardian of metaphysics who will run the game, and finally you, the player, the hero of your own story. Actually, I want to be really pretentious. And finally, in Alex. No. I'm deep into the strange world of 1999. How do we want to do this? How do we want to do this? The Yixter. Call him the proto-human. Call him the proto. Let's see. The Proto-Master. There we go. That's equally pretentious. What are you, the Proto-Master? And a desire to delve deep into the strange world of 1999. GM is Proto-Man, finally. There is no heroes left in man. Which is ironic because it's somewhat appropriate. So, how do I want to word this? Okay. In Soul Survivor, a postmodern TTRPG, the Watchers will be influencing the actions of the heroes. A band of the heroes, a band of people who have come together to understand and solve the mystery of soul space. Affecting their reality. However, there is a catch. However, the story will end at 12:01 a.m. at 12:01 a.m. on January 1st, 2000. Whether the heroes succeed or fail at their task. 1 minute after midnight, story will reach its conclusion. The Watchers will leave, and the adventure ends. Whenever a hero attempts an action with a chance of failure. Whenever a hero attempts an action with chance of failure, the Watcher will need to the Watcher will need to make a check. A check is when a check has the Watcher roll the. See, on one hand, we can do the millennial die, D20. Check has the Watcher roll the millennial die and the heroes. Yeah, it'd be the hero specific one and their hero's attribute die together, attempting to reach a target number. Yick didn't end in January. Yeah, that's the idea. Like, Yick doesn't technically end on December 31st. However, it's the idea that the Alex Comet arrives and destroys reality at that time. Right at the beginning of the year, the Alex Comet destroys the world. Hence, I'm putting it in here, similar to Oji-san Demon Slayer Corporation, actually, where that game specifically ended in, I think, 91. This specifically ends in 1 minute after midnight, January 1st, 2000. Which is like, this is the end of your story. This is the end. This is a guaranteed thing. However, it's the idea that this isn't really the end. You don't want it to be. That's not really the end of the story. However, Check has the Watcher roll the Millennial die d20 and their hero's attribute die together, attempting to reach a target number. Target number TN, which has me go here. Oh, it's not gonna like the postmodern. It does not like that in the slightest. Here's what we're gonna do. Feedback. I want to ignore this. Ignore. TTRPG, and at 12:01 and the Millennial roll the Millennial die. And that means we need to make our favorite thing of the world. It's text box time. Yay, text boxes. Woo. Technically, we can make this pretty tight, and which we're going to say target number. Actually, no, it's difficulty target number. So we should do simple. Simple would be, actually, let me do a quick check. Let me do like guys, I can explain. D20, we'll do D20 TN chart. What's the traditional target number TN chart is for D20? Because it's usually based off of 5. I just want to make, I don't actually use D20 very often. Actually, what am I doing? I already have a D20 chart like this. Let's go to, yeah, I actually don't use D20 really hardly at all. So 5, 10, 15, 20, okay. Simple. This is TN5. TN5 is like, anyone can do this. Like, this is like, if something is going wrong or you have a few penalties, you should be rolling that. We want to do, the average is going to be 10. Difficult is 15. Millennial is going to be 20. 25. There we go. Perfect. The hardest difficulty, 30. The hardest possible difficulty you can have, yick, at 30, which is actually impossible for you to get unless that is your best stat. Why didn't you... There we go. Actually, whenever hero... Actually, play a split... No, play... Actually, the adventure is split between two distinct phases. Actually the real world, and actually real space, and soul space. No. Adventure and combat. During the adventure phase, whenever a hero attempts an action with a chance of failure, the Watcher will need to make a check. Check has the Watcher roll the Millennial die, plus that. What am I going on here? Okay. Actually, so when a When a hero is being opposed by another, both will roll the millennial die. I know this is an opposed check. This is an opposed check. Both the hero and the other character. Both the hero and the other character. Yep, and the other characters, lowercase, very important. Both the hero and the other character will roll their dice, and whoever scores the highest will be victorious. Actually, we'll need to make a check. Rolls a millennial die, and their hero's attribute die, and whatever modifiers they have together, attempting to reach that. This is what we do for an opposed check. And then we'll explain the combat phase a little bit deeper, which is the idea being like during the combat phase, the heroes will need to make series of rolls to determine. Actually, the watchers will need to make a series of rolls to determine the outcome of the battle, determining a number of hits and strikes by their hero. This is detailed more in the combat section. I'm being a little bit coy here, but I'm being like, this is a completely different fucking phase. This is something completely and utterly different. Okay, so we've got that. We can slap an image right there. What we need to do now is what we're going to call is, how do we want to word this? Momentum and what would be failure? Because in Feast of Legends it's called Feast and Famine, which actually was very good. Momentum and yicking up. Momentum and yicking out. If you don't think I'm going to make fun of the entire fucking time, you are severely mistaken. A character, when a watcher rolls the millennial die. When a watcher rolls a millennial die, if it comes up as a 20 or 1, special results can occur. This triggers momentum or yicking out. This triggers a momentum or yicking out. So a hero who has the momentum on a check. Actually, no. How do I want to do this? Yeah, no. Roll 20 or 1. This triggers momentum or yicking out. A hero who has a hero who has the momentum will automatically succeeds at the action they were attempting, as well as conferring additional benefits. So, and those benefits are for an attack. Actually, no, we don't really need to worry about combat. They were tempting, so automatically succeeds. Actually, they were tempting. The character will have an advantage on their, let's see, have an advantage on their next roll. How do I want to do this? We just do just a standard advantage. No. We're deliberately invoking a very certain kind of game. Does the ad give me something? Yes, technically. The ad does technically give me something, because actually here, I can give you a little bit of a look behind the screen here a little bit. If I click the right fucking button. I don't know if I'm even allowed to do this. However, I'm going to show everyone this because I feel this is... I owe it to you, you could say. So, this is Twitch. As you can see. If I go down... Actually, I don't need you. If I go down here, this is where I can actually activate ads. And it's the idea of pre-roll ads. I try to keep the pre-roll ads as much as I can. But it's hard. Going to be perfectly fucking frank with you, it's very hard. I believe if I go to... on to inside... No, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Viewer rewards? Nope. Stream? No. Channel? No, that's not it. Moderation? Nope. Affiliate? Is affiliate right? Trying to figure out where it is. But I actually do get something out of it. It's not a lot. Oh, yeah. I have, as you can see, my grand total payout for this entire thing, for all of the ad revenue, has been about 30 cents. Yeah, let's see, like ads, I made like 2 cents on ads. Yeah, probably since I make about 1 to 2 cents an ad per video. If I were to do, you know, the entire, I don't even May 2022. From all the way here. So from, I've made a grand total of $19 and maybe, let me see, if I just do, if I cut out all of this, made, again, probably about 30-ish cents off of ads. I do receive something. Not much, but I do. Noped reveals that he's been making $122,000 a month from it. Fuck me, man. If I was making that much money, you think I'd be streaming tabletop games? Bruh, my brother in Christ. Nah, I'd just be stringing 5 Nights at Freddy's and shit like that. I'd be raking in that money. Hey, it's an... Yes, I ended up with getting... I managed to pay for a full McDonald's meal using Twitch exclusively. For about 6 months of 6 months of streaming, and I got a McDonald's meal. Hell yeah, gamers. I'm making it. Here's what we're gonna do. We're going to, instead what we're going to call this is... Momentum and stumbles. Stumbles. Actually, momentum and fumbles. So, during the adventure, the heroes may encounter certain situations, problems which are beneficial or crippling. Let's see. Here's may encounter certain situation, problem that are beneficial or crippling. whenever a hero is affected by something positive, right conditions, right tools, being helped by a friend, they will receive the watcher will roll an additional millennial die. The watcher will roll an additional millennial die, taking the highest result for the roll. For example, I will do Marcus is getting help fixing his motorcycle. Marcus is getting help fixing his motorcycle from Tammy. He receives his watcher rolls 2 millennial die with a 12 and a 19, and takes the 19. On the other hand, when a hero here is affected by something negative, poor conditions, no tools, actively hindered by others, the watcher will roll an additional millennial die, taking the lowest result. For example, Marcus is trying to climb up some rocks. Actually, let's see. Marcus is driving in bad conditions to deliver a package. Let's see. Marcus is driving in bad conditions to deliver a package. His watcher rolls 2 millennial die with a 4 and an 18. The watcher takes the 4. Marcus is going to have a rough fall. So we established the momentum mechanics. Still not 100% sure on this being EXO. I might change the heading font. I don't know. It sounds appropriate. It looks appropriate because this one's most likely gonna be. Most likely this is going to be PDF pretty quickly. I got a question. 1, gonna have the status effects and elemental affinity, but good in the TTRPG, and what stats are used in the end. I am going to be having the elemental affinity as well as some of the status effects, the best ones I can. Some status effects I can manage, kind of thing. In the end, the stats ended up being based off egos, as I called them. The idea being that it's your physical, gutsy, flowy, cerebral, or enigmatic. So if you're a physical person, you're going to be strong. If you're gutsy, you're very charismatic. If you're flowy, you're very dexterous. Cerebral, you're very smart. And being enigmatic is just being weird. And so someone might have, for example, physical D6, gutsy D4, flowy D8, cerebral D4, and enigmatic D10. We know he's just a weird dude, not terribly smart, but he can kind of move fast. And he's a little bit strong. He's a weird little rat man. And these are actually going to translate into your combat stats. So I did manage to merge these two, hopefully. Search if there's a Yik font. There is a Yik font. I do know that it is. Let me see, fonts in Yik. Because Let me see, is this the... It's very, very standard, we'll say. Logos, the gallery, you can... I always forget, like, they have all this stuff here. That you could just find everything there. There's actually, I do know there is actually like a dedicated font. Actually, what I did find though, which I found was very nice, was I found all of the Earthbound fonts. I actually found every single Earthbound font, and I now have them. I am yicking out Johnny Elvis. Thank you for following. I know who you are, though. Driving myself to madness with Fontasm. Font nobody appreciate, but I still want to give it a good feel. Yeah, pretty much. Like, the idea behind EXO was, like, it's kind of this futuristic one. As you can see, like, this is Apple Kid down here. Apple Kid is the font primarily used in Earthbound. This is the year's 1990X, which is a header font used in Earthbound. And in case you're wondering, because the interesting thing about Yick is that all the sprites are actually just constructed from one another. Hence why I have only Alex's here and my companion Michael stitched into reality, as you could tell. Many Alexes, including Vela Alex, which I thought was the most appropriate. Even though here is Fem Alex, according to someone, so that's just a thing. So let's see, Marcus will have a rough fall, and then we're going to. Which we're going to actually do. Actually, what critical? Actually, no. What you can do? Crits, criticals and fumbles. Selected by something. By something positive. They have a critical. Watch, we'll roll into it. Because in Earthbound, this term would be, I believe it's anytime you roll a critical hit, effectively, it's a slam. On the other hand, when a hero is affected by something negative, they are suffering from fumbles. Fumbles the elf. Actually, they are suffering from a fumble. You baboon, you absolute baboon, babushka. Manly the Michael, yep, Manly the Michael. Hey, Michael came in, yeah, calls it a smash. Yeah, you gotta do it right. Earthbound calls it a smash when it's a crit. Okay, so we have all of this. This means we need to go to heading. Is there any other mechanics that I need to do for like this? The core basic, like the core meat of the game. We have the advantage disadvantage system, which I feel is kind of mandatory these days. It flows nicely. We have the. Actually, what we can do is raw luck, stupid timing, actually reliance on the universal will. There will come times when a watcher or hero has to rely on the universal will. The driving force of all events happening simultaneously occurring at one time at one time. This can also be collectively referred to as chaos. As chaos. Collectively referred to as Kara. When a watcher needs to simply determine something random. They are relying on the universal will. They will roll the millennial die, and they'll roll the millennial die. I end up calling you again. The Protomaster, the Protomaster, as they are the guardian of this reality. Let's see. The Protomaster, as they are the guardian of this reality, will interpret the universal will from that die. Sometimes high will be better. Sometimes high will be better. Sometimes low will be better. Other times odds, maybe evens. The universal will is actually the Protomaster. The Protomaster is also encouraged to rely on the universal will. Rolling the millennial die to determine a variety of situations. Roll it. Interpret it. It doesn't matter. All that will has already been seen, and the only thing to be seen is nothing. Let's see. All that will has already been seen. And now it's those who cannot see to interpret. There you go. This is effectively stating that anytime there's a question of like, I don't know what I'm doing, you just roll the fucking D20. Just roll it. It's the millennial die. Rely on it. Maybe even. Just kind of make a random call. Like, it's okay. This is literally the make a random call. It's in canon. So the golden alpaca going to appear too. My idea is that in the lore, section, I'm going to like detail like what is a golden alpaca. At the end of the day, a golden alpaca, like the idea is like a golden alpaca is nonsense. However, what it is at the end of the day, it is a guardian. It's a person, it's an entity literally designed to be chaos that goes around and corrects shit. When something is going wrong, it goes there to correct it. They serve the universal will. They serve literally the embodiment of chaos. They are not bad people, but they are like, we need to correct whatever the fuck is going on to make sure that everything continues to exist. That's why the golden alpaca seems so out of place, because he is, by its nature, a being outside of reality. It is pure and utter chaos that makes zero fucking sense. However, it just works because he is a servant of... He is a servant of chaos. Therefore, since he is a servant of chaos, it is his... He looks like chaos, even though he has his own will. Because that's chaotic. Because again, like, you gotta remember, like, this is the funny part. I'm getting off track, but I can do this because it's my stream. Like, golden alpaca. The original golden alpaca fight. This was the original golden alpaca. And what would occur is that the golden alpaca would show up and start shouting lemonade. It had no dialogue, it would just shout lemonade. Uh, yeah, but mind you, all the same ideas were still there. People still had all the same dialogue of like, oh my god, what's going on? What? See, this is interesting too because we never got this cutscene. Yeah, like it's it's hard to find. It's the thing is, it's really hard to find anything on Yik that isn't just a complete fucking meme, because this is technically how the golden alpaca is supposed to look. You're like, oh, I sentenced you to soul death. Like, yeah, they are universal chaos, literally designed to fucking kill you. That's how I'm interpreting it. In your game, your golden alpaca. Yeah, I think it was like, it's completely random, lol random, it's cute. The idea that I have is that your golden alpaca is going to be something completely fucking different. Guardians are weird. They appear, they say you're wrong, and then something happens. And because you are here, because you are interacting with the game, something has gone wrong and the Guardian's going to appear. Hence why the Proto Master is literally, hey, this is your job to manage this shit. Your job is to keep the universal will in order. However, the Guardian's job. Oh, I'm getting cheered. 200 bits. I'm doing it, boys. Thank you very much, Johnny. Johnny Elvis, or should I say Chippy? Thanks, Chippy. You're my favorite. Toad? Frog? Chippy the strongest. I don't know how Twitch works. Don't worry, nobody else does either. Like, I'm doing like super debuff stuff. I'm like, I'm not supposed to be uploading. Like, I'm not supposed to be doing any of this. If I wanted like a Twitch max, but I don't care really. Let's see, criticals and fumbles tutorial, how to play. We understand what that. We understand the reliance of the universal will. We slap an image right there. We slap an image right here. I really want to be precise. I could do this, because this gives us a big amount of room for one image. This gives us a bigger amount of room for another image, which we have the idea of like relying on that. Okay, cool. I'm just a regular person. Because remember, everybody in Yik is just a regular fucking dude. Yeah, you are technically everyone is generating note coin. You know, it's like, have no fear. Note coin is very the chick is literally a skinwalker. Yes. Technically, here's the thing about the cast of Yik. We'll do the cast of Yik. Like, out of all the characters, here's the thing. Alex is quite literally the center of the universe. Rory literally Rory broke the rules of the setting because he left his body when you're not supposed to. And he's also just kind of a weird, he met pretty much an alternate version of himself. Chandra is pretty standard, because the weird thing is we don't meet Chandra or Claudio until this next chapter. Like, Vela is a person from beyond time and space, pretty much, because she inhabited the body of this reality's Vela. Michael is apparently quite literally stitched into reality to be Alex's best friend. That is Michael's point in the story. Is that he has been stitched into reality. I will upload more emotes. Jesus. What the fuck are you on about? Did you kiss Rory? I've been playing Yick. I've gone through Yick. I'm learning more about Yick. Did you kiss Rory? Soon. After, I think at the end of chapter 3, when I get to make out with Rory, which is important. Even though Manly wants me to kill Rory, Manly wants me to cause Rory. Wants me to kill Rory, and that's sad. I'm like, no, we don't want to kill Rory. I'm just a regular person. Heroes are drawn from all walks of life. The only connecting threads are two simple ideas. They have been affected by soul space, and a watcher is gazing upon them. When a watcher sets its gaze upon a person who has perceived soul space, they will become a hero. They will become a hero, drawn into the crazy world around them. Things go wrong for heroes. Things go wrong for a hero. They suffer, they struggle, they become more dramatic. But in exchange, they are able to pursue their dreams. They're able to pursue their dreams far more quickly and dramatically. But in exchange, they pursue their dreams. They are able to pursue their dreams and innermost wants. A hero is when a hero is selected, they must define themselves. They must define themselves. Who are they? What do they do? What makes them tick? Kind of along the idea one of the ideas I want to go throughout here is that you, the player, are not playing, you are not the hero. You are the watcher. This is the players here. This is going to be a little bit pretentious nightmare. Players watching the heroes. That's the idea, is you are literally cosmic beings gazing upon and influencing the lives of these people, because we're postmodern. Kiss Rory, he is your homie. Understand him, he's yicked by Notepad, his life has gone downhill. Notepad, can you write my school report? What are you doing a report on, Chippy? Is it a fun report? It's going to be a fun school report. I was pretty good at writing reports there for a while. I don't think I can do it much anymore. I was damn good. We want to do egocentric personality. The ego, actually. Ego, super ego, id. Let me remember. Okay, ego, super ego. Yeah, so ego, the ego. Every Every hero is defined by 5 egos. Let's find my 5 egos in which we need to worry about. These are going to be cerebral, enigmatic, gutsy, actually, flowy, gutsy. Yeah, so cerebral, enigmatic, flowy, gutsy, and physical. Because I like keeping let's see, and physical. Each one being a core part of the hero's overall ability in the field. So we're going to have to now go over them. So if we are 2 options here, we can either make a table for it and explain it, or we can actually, here's what we can do. Think smart. We are going to make a table. We're going to do that. We're going to merge this table together. Side, we're going to be the ego of a hero, in which we're going to do the cerebral. The thinking man, a thinker, a philosopher, let's see. The hero is described as actually, how do I want to word this? There's pretty much the idea here is that like this is like a description of who you are. So, and the dice value determines a little bit more. Let's see. And the idea would be the dice value is like how important that kind of adjective applies to your particular hero. And like, okay, you're a very cerebral person. You think a lot. You're a thinker. You are a very mental person. Actually, do. Actually, so what we can do the intellectual, relying on the mind to do the heavy lifting, relying on the mind to do the heavy lifting of the day-to-day problems. Heroes with high cerebral are smart, quick-witted, and self-centered. Because again, it's actually not self-centered. And heroes with low cerebral may not be the most intelligent sort. Be the most intelligent, but they have they not to be the most intelligent, but are more open with others. So the idea behind cerebral being like, if I'm a very cerebral person, you're an intellectual. It's like you're a smart person who is very actually. Or I do this. Relying on the mind to do day-to-day problems. We do that. Keep it 2 sentences. Twitch does have a racism filter. Shaving 200 pyramids, I guess. But here I am not doing that. Deadlines today. Do school. Did you actually dissect the game? Yes. I am actually going to be dissecting. I'm going to be dissecting Yik when I finish it entirely. I have like a thing written up already for it. Like, here is like, and it's not like, and I might make a video on it being like, you can make Yik. Like, here's my thing on Yik. And I'm not going to be like, here's why Yik is bad and everything is bad with it. What I do plan on thinking about doing with it is, here's how you rewrite Yik to make Alex not a complete fucking ponce. Let's see. Actually the mystical, the strange, and outright bizarre nature of a person. Be weird. Think weird. Let's see. Let's see the laissez-faire. Let's see the laissez-faire attitude. You clicked wrong that it was wrong, and I'm gonna double check it because it's saying it's wrong because it's 2 S's. Because I always forget the 2 S's in laissez-faire. Every fucking time there's 2 S's in it. I do not know why I forget the S's, but yeah. The laissez-faire attitude toward the world with quick hands and fast feet. Gutsy. The brave face a person puts on in the face of danger themselves or lying to others. In face of danger or when telling bold-faced lies. Actually, I'm trying to convince others, because the idea is that like gutsy is, because what I wanted this to be is I want them to be kind of a dual nature in a way. Cerebral can be used for a lot of different things, similar to enigmatic or flowy. It's kind of the idea like gutsy is a combination of how hardcore are you, you know, like are you ready to do this? It's also kind of your charisma stat. That's kind of the idea, being like you're a really gutsy person, you're a lot more able to talk to others, you're a lot more forward. And you are not necessarily like an aggressive person, but it's like I'm confident. If you have high guts, you're a very confident person. And maybe if you have an excessively high guts, that might indicate that you have Varric's memeing on me. Varric's memeing on me and my damn way I do it. BRB, I'm yicking out. Whoa! Yeah, just yick out. I mean, that's kind of the base of what you should be doing. Let's see. Oh, jeez. Okay, and physical. The hands-on approach. You're able to get down and dirty in the muck. And what we can do here is we go to, because fun fact, Google hates you. Google really hates tables and have always consistently hated tables. Ah, you're not gonna let me do this, are you? You're gonna be mean and not let me do this. I just want to do this one table. Are you going to let me do that just one section? No, you're not going to let me do this one section. Which is the one advantage of, but what we can do, delete row. Then we do this, the ego of a hero. And then we do 1 point font. There we are, the ego of a hero. The hero of man, because you're proto-man. Proto-man! Okay, so. The ego. That doesn't look as good as I was hoping it would. I think this looks fine. Proto man. Let's see. The ego is the basis of the hero's abilities. Basis of the hero's abilities. Actually, no, core part of the hero's overall ability. Each ego is assigned a die value from D4 to D12, representing how acclimated to that ego the hero is. The higher, let's see, the higher the value of the ego is, the more a part of the hero it is. Of the hero it is. Each hero begins with a D4, D6, D6. Let's see, we got 5. Actually 2D4, 2D4, 1D6. Actually 2D6 and 1D8 to determine their initial attributes. It should determine their initial egos. Their initial ego. And then we're going to put a sample character, which we're going to do an example. Marcus. Marcus Nemens. Motorcycle hipster. We'll use Mr. Nemens. Mr. Nemens is a grade A hipster. Grade A mechanic hipster. Grade A mechanics hipster. Hipster only caring about his ride. And actually what we can do is 3D4. We do 3D4, 1D6, 1D8. Yeah. Let's see, grade A mechanics hipster, only caring about his ride and the next person he can get. He can get on his bike. Great, on his bike. However, after a nasty fall, we need to give something about him that's a little bit more pretentious. Oh, I know. Mr. Nemens, a classic shut-in gamer. More about his Japanese RPGs than interacting with other people. Actually, do I want to give everyone an ego die? I could give someone like just no ego die. You know what? Fuck it. Let's not. We'll give a 1d4, 1d6 to determine their initial ego. It is possible. Let me see. It is possible for a ego to be 0. To be 0, where the character would roll no dice. No additional die. Will die when using it. Kicking X shit out with my phone. Yeah, sometimes the phone can get a little bit weird when it comes to it. It doesn't help that Twitch just is Twitch works TM. Ah. You might have used it on somebody else. Yeah. See, I got a coffee from Starbucks. Not Starbucks, from Dunkin' Donuts. To a different Dunkin' Donuts than I usually go to because mine was having a complete shit show. So I got one of their deluxe ones because I had a free one. Now I have like just at the bottom of my drink, I have just like all the flavoring and stuff I got in it, and I'm tempted to get my own coffee. You know what? I'm going to do that. But 2 seconds. I'm going to get my own coffee, fill up my old cup with my own coffee, and then have just my own coffee in a Dunkin' Donuts cup because I'm fucking white trash. Go Veffy. Fire. God, my body. My body. I love my soul. Yes. I got the deluxe latte. It's normally like $6 fucking bucks. I don't get them very often. Only when I have a free one, and it's a coffee if you've ever had like not a latte necessarily, but if you ever had like a flavored latte, what they use is syrups. That's all it is. $6 for coffee? Yes, because I get large coffees. Latte, yeah, it's the most expensive coffee I've paid for now. There's one place I go. It's called Rockin' Joe. I love Rockin' Joe. They're a lovely place. Great vibe. I hate the people who work there, but that kind of comes... There's one girl I like in there. They have like... It's like a $7 fucking coffee. If I want to get like my full coffee that I like. Like $7. I've never been a fan of just like raw espresso. See, I drink a lot of coffee, but I don't drink like coffee like that much. I'm not like a fucking like, oh, have you been trying my Ethiopian ground coffee? Like, no. Here's my super espresso. No. Give me my... My dude, why do you like people at a store? They're nice. They're not. It's a coffee joint. Like, it's the same people over there. They're pretty nice. There's one place where I've deliberately not gone in like months because I just hate everybody who works there. They're just annoying. Let's see. Classic Shouting Gamer cares more about Japanese RPGs than interacting with other people. He has the following ego. His following ego scores. which we're going to have. Our first one is cerebral. He's going to have a D8 in his cerebral. Enigmatic. He's going to have a D4 in. Is flowy. He's going to have a D6 in. However, he is not very gutsy and he's not very physical. Which in combat terms means he wants to be using magic and he wants to be kind of hitting people to range attacks. He does not want to be actually in the fight because he's going to get his shit rocked if he does. So we've got that. Then we determine it would be the super ego. Super ego is... No, that would be id, right? How do I want to do this? Okay. I know how we can do this. We're going to call it the id. The id. A hero is a complicated beast. Is a complicated person. Someone that finds it difficult. Someone who finds it difficult to be a, let's see, is a complicated person. Someone broken in a way. Because soul space, let's see, soul space calls to people undergoing extreme emotional or mental problem. Extreme emotional or mental, extreme emotional feeling. Soul calls people undergoing extreme emotional feelings. With the few soul survivors being those who manage to escape the reality. Let's see, with soul survivors being those who would manage to escape the reality because of their trauma, because of their disconnect with their body. Each hero has a series of traits and traumas. Traits indicate positive aspects. About the hero, or at least beneficial ones. These assist in their various day-to-day lives. And these assist in their various day-to-day lives and are broken down into 5 unique categories. Into five unique categories. Now, this is going to be in the id because, again, this is what we can do. Which we go here, which is going to be mind energy, identity, mind, nature, and tactics, which is going to be identity, mind, nature, and tactics. Oh, yeah, thank you very much, Johnny Elvis, for subscribing with Prime. Wow. Wow, thanks Chippy for paying me money. I'm doing it, gamers. Thanks Amazon for funding my extravagance. You can get one scoop, not even one scoop. Do you realize how fucked the our economy over here, man? If I wanted to get a goddamn scoop of ice cream, it cost me like $3. It's like, damn. Maybe the real economic crisis was the fact I can't get my damn ice cream anymore. Let's see. Energy. How does the hero approach others? Actually, how do they break it down? Because this was actually the Myers-Briggs personality test. This is actually the 16 personalities things. Energy intuitive versus observant. So how does the hero approach situations in front of them? How does the hero approach situations in front of them? In which we can actually go, if we go to the right a little bit, we merge these two cells together, and which would be, and do actually, we're going to apply a light gray. Up. Let's see, overly friendly. Man of beauty. There we go. So this is like, how do you approach situations in front of you? Identity. Let me do what the identity was. This is intuitive. I believe this is how you see yourself. Type indicator works. I'm trying to remember what they all were. Assertive versus turbulent. Okay. How does the hero see themselves and the situation around them? Blind confident. Actually, amateur journalist. What would it be? How would you view the world around you in that way? So it's kind of like these are just some broad categories. Because I'm trying to get like the best way of thinking about it. Because the Myers-Briggs thing. Because I thought I'm like, this is a good idea. I don't know if it's a good idea anymore. Let's see. Blind confidence, amateur journalist. Obscure musician. This is how you see themselves in the situation around them. If you're an amateur journalist, you're obviously going to be looking at things from a very analytical point of view. However, if you're overly focused on things, then you're going to be like very focused on if you're looking for precise details, you'll be able to add your overly focused. If you're an obscure musician, it's kind of the idea of like, yeah, you know things around you and you're looking for music, you're looking for sounds, you have an ear for things. I have Twitch for like 3 years and I never claimed those free stuff. Yeah, the free stuff, they used to pop up a lot, and then they just kind of stopped for me and I stopped caring. Because it was like, hey, do you want to... You want to look at like the fucking thing again? It's like, no, I don't want to get my exclusive cool new Fortnite skin. How done? How's it? Let's see, human computer. Actually, a permanent revolutionary. Friend to all losers. So it's kind of like the idea of like, how do you process information? If you're a human computer, you process things very analytically, almost too analytically. But if you're a permanent revolutionary, you're always trying to convince other people to do things. You're always, let's fuck the law, fuck this, fuck the now, look to the future. But if you're a friend to all losers, it's like, yeah, you're comfortable around people that others don't like very much. This is kind of how you operate. This is who you are. This is the way you think. How you approach things mentally, thinking versus feeling. How does the hero understand the world around them and themselves? Actually, permanent. Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? Anonymous mink. Don't remember posting this. Do I even have this shared? Why do I have the link view? Where did I post the link to this? I don't know. Where did I post the link to this? Did I post the link to this? I don't remember posting a link to it. I guess it's because I have everything set up that way. It happens. 3 epic cards for Hearthstone. God, people still play Hearthstone. That's amazing to me. Understand the world around them. We need to do actually a Greenpeace protester. Ally of justice. When we do let's see, to be philosophy. Actually, there we go. Fucking nerd. Yes, Jedi Initiate. Because in 1999, I believe 1999 Star Wars, I believe that's when Phantom Menace came out, right? Yeah, that's when Phantom Menace came out. Specifically, this was 1999, was in May. So yeah. It was only made for $115 million? Damn. Zam. So you saying like it's the idea of like thinking like, okay, well, how do you view yourself? I'm a Jedi, how do you understand the world around you? You're a Jedi initiate. Not only are you kind of like, yeah, you kind of view the world in a very weird way. People also, you view others of like, well, I'm being too mystical for this shit. I'm above it all. And people kind of use the idea of like, yeah, you're a goddamn nerd. Someone weird. We respect that. Because again, this isn't necessarily supposed to be a good thing about you. These are just things about you. Tactics, Myers-Briggs, judging versus prospecting. How does the hero plan for the situations in front? How does the hero plan? Think first, act later. Actually, the hero we need. For the throat. Actually, go for the throat. How do you want to see it? So it's kind of like the idea of like, oh, I'm the hero we need. It's like you'll put yourself out there. If you go for the throat, you can kind of apply this to various different situations, which is like you go right for the kill. If someone's being mean to you, you go straight for the, it's like we're fighting each other in the streets. It's you kick someone in the dick, you go for the throat. If you're standoffish, you're kind of above it all, and it would be the idea of taking on the chin. Traits are ranked similarly. Traits are ranked similarly to the to egos. Traits are every hero starts the game with a single trait in a single category. And starts with a single trait in any category of their choice. This is a defined part of their nature and who they are. A trait is ranked from 1 to 5. Let's see. Do we want this to a flat value? Yeah, this is going to be effectively our skill system. A trait is ranked from 1. Actually, no. D2 to D12. Actually, no. We'll just do D4 to D12. Trait is ranked from D4 to D12, signifying how important of an impact the trait has on the character's life. Each the starting trait begins at D4. So what we can do now is we use an example of Marcus again. Use an example, classic shotgun gamer. He has the following trait. In which the way he approaches the situation is he is hide from prying eyes. Tactics, hide from prying eyes. That is how he views himself. That is something fundamental to Mr. Nemens. He wants to hide from prying eyes. And if you're like, hey, Notepad, I want to make a roll. Let's say he wants to make a roll to hide from somebody. What he can do is he's going to take his D20, he's going to take a D6 for his flowy, and he's going to say, hey, I want, I have hide from hiding, I want to hide from prying eyes. Can I add my trait to it? He's like, and I would say, yes. So you can take that, and he would take his D4. I have a D4 here. Where is my D4? ASMR, my dice bag is full of D20s. I don't hardly fucking use. Okay, there's me. I'd be like, all right, yeah, you can add your trait. We roll them all together. I scored a 7 plus a 5, which is 12 and a 1. So I got a 13 because I can't. The millennial die does not like me. So, but that would be the idea. I should say is only a single trait can be added to any roll. Only a single trait can be added to any roll. Diversify yourself. Like, thank you so much. I think he is a Gorbino. Like, oh. Good night, Chippy. Give me 1 second. Luca, my brother in Christ. I'm gonna have to get. Okay, there's his Gorbino roll. Give me 1 second. What's the appropriate? Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta give him the appropriate one. My homoerotic tension with various members of the British people. Let's see. Trauma is similar to a trait. It is assigned a die value. It is assigned a die value. It's assigned a die value of D12. Of D12 instead. Anytime your trauma comes up, it will actually similar to a trait, but can be about anything. Anytime your trauma comes up, you will roll that die. Anytime Soul Space calls out to broken people. The trauma reflects that broken nature of a person. It is not assigned any kind of die value. It is not assigned of any kind of die value. However, it does reflect a fundamental nature of the hero. Overcoming these traumas is what a hero is pursuing at the end of the day. Whether they want to or not. Every hero starts with starts with a single trauma, but more will gradually come to the surface as they explore soul space deeper. Again, the thing is with this, I don't want to have like any mechanics or anything strictly associated with this. However, I think the idea is it's more along the idea of like, why are you broken? And like, why are you doing this? Because this is going to define who you are in a few different ways. Because again, this is something that you're pursuing, reason you're doing these things. And it's like, yeah, okay, what's your trauma? It's like, yeah, I'm agoraphobic. Are you really agoraphobic? Or actually, we can do terrified of people, which is kind of like the idea of being like, this is kind of a roleplay assistance, but it's also your way to look at things differently. It's you turning that trauma and doing something with it to explain who this person is. Marcus Nemens is a classic shut-in gamer who cares more about his Japanese RPGs than interacting with other people. However, he views, how do you plan for situations in front, how does he plan for situations? He hides from prying eyes. And what's his trauma? He's terrified of people. So it's like, how does this guy approach the world? He probably doesn't leave his house except when he absolutely needs to. And like, there we go, unfamiliar people. And the reason why he's with the party is maybe not necessarily out of wanting to be with them, but more like, I need to do something. There's someone who's missing. I need somebody. There's something to draw you in a little bit. There's something guiding you. Something is grabbing that person and dragging them here, which is it should be somewhat sad in a way. Which is the idea of, say, again, Mr. Nemens here, he's contacted Soul Space is here, and suddenly, oh no, he's missing. Somebody's missing in his life, and he needs to find them. For example, like one of his, his best friend, the one person who actually is pretty active with him, who actually kind of deals with him, goes missing. And now he's really terrified of unfamiliar people, and he approaches the world, and got to hide from prying eyes. Like, he's this gamer guy who doesn't want to deal with people very often, but you kind of realize as he goes through, he's actually very smart. He's a very smart guy, as you can kind of see over there. He's kind of weird, and he kind of is fast, but he's a smart guy, and you wonder what happened to this guy, which you can explore in the game a little bit, being like, why don't you like hanging out with people? Because they scare the shit out of me. Because I approached the world differently. I didn't think I was the different kid in school, but my one friend, always there for me. Because this person was always there for me, I got out. I was willing to do more things. I was able to interact with more people. They're gone now, but I want to find them. It's like I'm getting out of my comfort zone. It's like you have entered, again, you've touched soul space a little bit, and now you're trying to solve something. There's a mission. People have gone missing. How do we fix it? There's been a murder. Someone has died, and we need to get to the bottom of it because something's going wrong with soul space. We go in there and and he's kind of a weird dude, and he accompanies these guys around him, but over time they can help him overcome his trauma. They can help him overcome who he is. And how I plan to do it, that's going to kind of fold into the leveling system in a way, which the idea is like, if you overcome trauma effectively, like if things occur and it's like very clear, like, I've overcome this, or like you've overcome this situation, usually by the encountering of a soul survivor or something similar, is that you can turn trauma into a trait. Even beyond your natural traits, you can turn one. So he might turn his trauma of terrified of unfamiliar people into, kind of the weird guy in the corner. Like yeah, that's kind of who he's the weird guy in the corner, but people like that. Like he's this quiet guy, you know, it turns from terrified of unfamiliar people to, you know, the quiet guy. Or he's this perpetually quiet person, but people kind of divulge weird information to him. He's always there, and that could fit his character, but it might shift into something different depending on what occurs. That should be like a very that's gonna be, I'm gonna have to put in like a pretty extensive GM section being like, this is really gonna like lay off their traumas, abuse their traumas. I'm gonna call it there for today because I gotta leave here soon. We made pretty good progress. It doesn't seem like a lot, but like this is the adventure phase stuff. I'm gonna say probably if we look here, we need to go to table of contentios. What we need to do now is mostly like, I need to do, oh, didn't mean to hit that new window. No, I need to do the lore, which is important. Then I need to do, which I know how to do it, it's just doing it. From there we need to do more of, I need to add the super ego bit. I kind of understand how to do it. I might shift some of these around, but the super ego is kind of going to be like your, you know, combat class, which is kind of doubles as like your like who the fuck you are, and that's going to have to kind of fold into itself a little bit. And then we're going to do more of like the event, like how do we handle the adventure phase, then how do we handle the combat phase, then it's like here are enemy and then it's like enemy creation rules, power creation rules. Actually, I should call them ability creation rules, which is then going to be kind of folded into, you know, then the proto master section. That's how it's kind of going to go out, most likely on Friday. My goal on Friday is to get the entirety of the character system done, as well as some initial bits of adventure. Judging by this, most likely, if things have the right beat to it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say probably Friday next week, or early, like maybe like the 8th or 10th. I'm thinking like 6, 7 episodes at most for this particular game. If I have like a good time to it, just because I think the game's probably going to even out about 50 to 60 pages. It really is going to boil down to how in-depth combat ends up being and how many like abilities and enemies I end up creating. It's really going to boil down to that. This is going to be an extremely long monologue. The entire video, the entire bit of lore is going to be literally addressing the player. That's going to be the idea. It's like the player is adding. The player is getting addressed by the idea of the universal will, like kind of the overgod of the entire situation. And like, here's what an explanation of soul space is. It's fucking goop. It's the primal goop of the universe. I was like, what are soul survivors? People who ran the fuck away. And it's going to be more from the perspective of a quote watcher. That's going to be the idea, like someone controlling the player. You know, who the players are actually are. It's going to be a little bit weird. Again, I think the hurdles are going to be these 3 phases. These 3 sections, I think, are going to be the big hurdles. And I'm thinking these are going to be the hurdles just because combat's going to be so fucking different and there's going to be a lot of exception cases to it. Enemy creation rules are either going to be real easy or real complicated, depending on how combat goes. Ability creation rules is going to be like every other kind of ability creation rule system. It's going to be a little bit complicated, but shouldn't be too bad, depending on how I can, if I'm allowed to keep the pace up. The Proto Master section, I might just kind of write the Proto Master section in between things. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident. Not great, but confident. I'm going to call it there for today, though. So thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad Anon. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be doing Yick number 3. after I finish the Courtesans video, which the Courtesans video is probably not going to be terribly long because it's hard to talk about that game. And it's hard to talk about that game because it's not really a traditional RPG the way we would think about it. So it's like I have to address the fact that it's not a traditional RPG, and the way it kind of approaches its gameplay loop is very different than what you would think of somewhere else. It's a weird game to go over. But I'm interested in like showing people off because like it's a weird ass game written by a fucking weirdo. But I can respect it. That's the idea. I can respect the hustle, the grind set, you may say. So I'm gonna call it there. Thank you all. Goodbye. Also, I should know I did get back up to where I was last time in Yick. It was 30 fucking minutes of combat, and it was awful. I hated every second of it. I'm away.